Hey family, God bless everybody. I have a lot more I want to share with you guys. Today I have a few really long dreams that I want to share. Things that I've gone through and that I've seen in the past few days, this past week, that I really wanted to get out to you guys. I have so much things that I want to share. So I'm probably going to be making a lot of videos over the next couple of days. I want to get all three of these dreams out today, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to all three of them or not. So I'm just gonna check on the time, but I definitely want to get this first one out. So this dream started off. I was running outside down this alleyway between warehouse buildings, and I ran up the back of this flatbed truck or this conveyor belt with these packages on it, and I grabbed something. Then I ran to get into this van. Now I knew this van was going somewhere. We were about to leave to go somewhere. There were others in this van too. We started driving away. I was looking outside at the scenery as we were driving. Then the van started flying, and we were taken to this place where there were giant statues outside with these sculptures, and they were made of this like beautiful crystal stone, and they had their hands out like this, like they were holding their hands up like this, like they were or like this, but it was up like that, and they there were like four of them along this city. It looked like a city that I had arrived at. So I was just amazed by all the things that I was seeing in this scenery, this city, all these different colors. The colors were super vibrant and bright, and um, there were like these pinks and blues and yellows, and there were all these different crystal. Everything looked like it was made of crystals and different gemstones, and it was just beautiful. So we something started happening, like there were like the sun was setting or something, and the colors were changing in the scenery. And as this was happening, I started to get dizzy. Like I started to feel weird and dizzy. So I like I feel like the reason why this happened is because I was going into a different dimension, a different plane, and I guess I wasn't used to the way it was happening, the transition. So I started to feel woozy and dizzy. So I had laid down on the floor in this van, and then we had sat down, and when we did that, the van then I don't know if it connected to this train or it transformed into a train, but we were now in this train, and we were in a train, and it was long, and there were a lot of other people in this train, and I knew they were all part of this team, and we were there to train in this place that we were at. So, like I said, I knew it was like a city, and it was centered around this. It was almost like it was the whole city was built around this one area in the center, and the train then started to circle around the center area of this city. So we we then I think I was talking, or one of the coaches or instructors, supervisors or something like that, came over to me and told me to go ahead and get prepared to train. Like I was there, I was going first. So I noticed at this point that I had this new weapon, and it was sort of like a bow and arrow, except there was no bow. And I manifested the arrow with my hands. So I pinched my two fingers, almost like I was holding a the string of the bow, and then I pinched my other two fingers, like I was holding the string, and like I was holding the arrow, and I pulled back, and as I pulled back, the arrow appeared, and it was glowing blue. It was awesome. So I knew that there was a target in the center area that we were circling around, and as we circled around it, there would be a sensor or an alarm that went off, and as we got closer to the target, it started beeping faster and faster. So it was like beep 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 as I got closer to the target, to let me know that I was about to get to the target, so I could go ahead and be ready to shoot. So I got my hands together, pulled them back, had the arrow ready, and I knew that I only had a certain amount of time after I pulled this, manifested this arrow, before it disappeared. So like I had a couple minutes. So as the alarm went off faster, beeping, and I knew that my target was about to come up. I'm aiming to get ready to shoot this target, and so I go to let it go, and I miss. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it again. So we circle back around, and I go to form the arrow, and I shoot, and I miss again. Like first time I shot it too short. Second time I shot it in the wrong direction. Then the third time we were like behind the target, so I was like, oh man, I get it again, and I knew I only had to hit it one time, and I would be like I would pass this training test. But for whatever reason, I could not get used to the this arrow, this new bow and arrow weapon, and I believe I knew that I had used it before, but I wasn't used to using it in a as a moving target, because we were doing target practice, but it was moving this time as we were circling around this target. So I ended up doing this 9 times, and I missed every time. So finally, the instructor stops the train, pulls the train up to the target, and opens the door of the train so I could just hit it without moving. And I'm right there next to this train. So here's the funny part. I'm right next to this target. It's right here on this wall, and there's like all these different things. So this target looks like like a stuffed animal of like a teddy bear or something like that. Maybe like a polar bear, I'm not sure. But I knew it was some kind of stuffed animal. So I go to shoot it, and I miss still. I still miss. I'm right here next to the target's right here in front of my face, and I still managed to miss. So I was like, "Are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me!" And everybody else is like, "Oh, come on!" So as this happens, one of the girls that was part of the team had got upset, and she went over to the instructor, and she says, how come she gets 9 times to shoot this? So that's the weird part. While I was doing this training, I was in like a girl's body. For whatever reason, I was in some female's body, but like I knew I was myself, but I was maybe I was seeing through her eyes. I'm not really sure why that part was the way it was, but it was only while I was doing this training, shooting this arrow. So after this happened, the instructor said okay, he was going to give somebody else a chance. So I had known, I felt bad because I knew that I had taken up the whole day of training. Other people were supposed to be getting target practicing too, but everything was focused on me training. So he had went and called up another guy to do this training, to do the target practice. Then he pulled out this scroll, and he unraveled the scroll, and I was looking at the scroll, and the scroll had all these different drawings on it, and they were different descriptions of and designs and drawings on this scroll, and at the top was something specific, and the instructor told the guy not to take anything, not to touch the top, but then he took something off of the middle, and it was almost like a little sticker or something, and he gave that to him, and he said he could use that. And I knew that the top part was like an important weapon, like a very dangerous weapon, and he said he couldn't use that. So as we turned, like we weren't paying attention, or the instructor turned, and I heard this noise, like clicking real fast. It was like click, 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 and I knew that this guy had did something. And one of the supervisors, behind me, I heard him yell out, "What did he just do?" So as he yelled that out, everybody goes to look at this guy, and we knew somehow he did this real quick movement with his hands, and he took this thing, that this weapon or whatever it was that was at the top of this scroll, and then he starts to try to get away. So everybody's like, get him, get him. So at this point I knew I was myself, like I wasn't in this little girl's body or whatever it was anymore. So we all run to go after this guy that just stole this weapon or whatever it was, this important piece of information or something like that off of this scroll. And as guys are going after him, he's like doing these moves almost like martial arts movies, where he's tapping their body in like pressure point places, and they're like freezing, and he's like doing all this damage, and he had like these real fast hand movements. So another guy goes to run up to him, and as the guy runs up to him, I had this vision in my head, and I knew he was about to do this weird move. So this is the other weird part of this dream. So as he goes to do this move, I see this vision of genitals or peanuts. I saw peanuts, and I saw the peanuts get real small, like they were regular size, and then they shrunk like that, like they shrunk real tiny. And I knew what he was about to do. And so he does this move on this guy, of one of the guards that was on our team that was going after him, and he like taps him real quick. And as he does that, you could hear the guy's genitals like shrinking, like it made this crunchy noise, like. And then the guy standing there like, oh no. And I felt so bad for him. And all of us, we stopped, because it was all guys that were going after this guy. So we immediately stopped. And one of the guys said out loud, "So I guess we're letting them get away." And another guy looks back at him. "While he's doing that, I'm not going after him." So we were all like, I'm not messing with that. I'm not trying to have that happen to me. What just happened to the other guy? So that was kind of the funny part. And we knew, so at that point we knew we had to go after him though, because he had this important piece of information, or this weapon that he just stole from us. So we start going after him, and at that point I noticed that we weren't really dressed. Like, we almost in a sense had on loincloths, like you would see like tribal people wearing, or Native Americans, like from long time ago, where they would just have like those loincloths just covering like their genital areas. And then I also know, as we start walking into, we had walked through this hallway from this training area, and then we got into this other area. And once we got there, I knew that it was almost like a resort. It was like an island resort, and we were walking down throughout this area looking for this guy, and these two women come down these steps, and one of them says she needed to take her top off. So she takes her top off, and I noticed that they had tattoos all over them. Like everybody that was walking around had all these different tattoos, like these tribal tattoos on them, on their bodies. And as these women are walking by, like I was kind of surprised by this because I was caught off guard. Like I wasn't expecting to be seeing these new women walking around. And so, like at first, I was looking at them, and then I had this thought in my head: I should probably stop looking at him because God's going to see me looking at him. He's not going to be happy. So I had just turned my head to ignore it, and like I just felt like we were on this like cruise ship or this island resort. So what I know from that is that there are many others that I've spoken with prior, way before this dream, about the island, the training island. This is the place where I believe this is the place where we go to be taken to train. But this time, like I've been there before, but this time I got to see more of it. Like I actually, every other time I've been there, I've only seen it where I was at, but I've never actually seen myself being taken there. This time I saw myself being taken there, and I saw what it looked like from above, and it's beautiful. If that's anything what any part of heaven looks like, I can't even explain it. The things that the way I described it doesn't know justice. And I even tried to find maybe like a concept art design that could even touch on it. I can't find anything. So I just know that the things in heaven are out of this world, way more beautiful than things we've ever seen in our life. So I know I had two other dreams that I wanted to share, but those are really long, so I'm probably just going to separate them into different videos. But I definitely wanted to get that out to you guys because it was such an awesome dream. And since I had that dream, I know that the guy stealing the thing that he stole in the dream, that part, that obviously that represented the enemy, and he was somewhat of a traitor, and he was hiding, presenting himself to be one of us, which is basically a wolf in sheep's clothing. And we've been getting a lot. I know I personally been getting a lot on that, on being aware, because there are many false prophets, many people acting as though they're Christians, and it's getting worse, but it's getting more apparent also because the Lord is allowing us to see through their disguises. So it's nothing to be worried about, but it's definitely something to be aware of, to be careful, to always test the spirits, as the word says. And the Lord also has shown me since that this was related to a lot of dreams I was having before this, about the enemy trying to steal my things, steal my possessions. And since then I've prayed a lot about this, and I know others have prayed about this for me. And I started to, the Lord started to restore and retrieve and give me back the things that have been stolen to me, like certain dreams that I had forgotten have been popping up throughout the day. I'll start remembering dreams when I wake up, lately it hasn't been as hard to remember dreams as it was the past week. The enemy had been trying to attack me with my dreams, trying to get me to forget them so that I can't extract the word that God has given to me to share with you guys about this dream. Like I was saying the other day, the keys of understanding. So I just wanted to get all this stuff out to you guys as soon as possible because it was such a cool dream. But anyway, with that said, I love you guys. God bless you, and I'll talk with you soon.